Hi, I am Paul.
And I'm Karen. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Circular Coffee Club podcast. Today we're getting hands-on. Circularity sounds strategic, but it only works when processes actually work.
So let's talk about logistics, take back, repair centers, data, and the everyday decisions that make circularity real. Joining us remotely are Erika, Mathieu, and Aniela.
Thanks for inviting me today. I'm Aniela Konisny, end-to-end process leader for circularity offers. In my role, I shape how our circular processes are designed, how they run in a real life, and how we continuously make them better. So today, I'm really happy to explain how our circular processes actually work and take you behind the scene.
Hi Karen, hi Pau, my name is Erika. I'm Sustainability Program Leader at Schneider Electric. When it comes to circularity, I'm mainly working on new product design and go-to-markets and business models.
Hello Karen, hello Pau. I'm really excited to be here today. And talking about circular economy is always a pleasure because, let's be honest, transforming to circular model is not just a business challenge. It's a necessity and it's a huge opportunity.
Mathieu, can you please explain what circular strategy practically means at Schneider Electric?
Yeah, well, actually, at Schneider Electric, we have chosen to adopt the end-to-end circular strategy that is around three axes. That's the first one is use better, then we have use longer, and use again. With, at the center of everything, design and innovation that is at the core of our strategy. So actually, it's all start leveraging innovation and change in the way we create new offers, in the way we design new product, so that they are more circular ready since their origin actually. And then if we deep dive into our core strategy developed at the group level, we have use better. Use better is actually for our internal processes, is we source better, we manufacture better, and so we operate better. But what does it mean? Actually, we ask our supply chain people to source with sustainable material, with sustainable packaging. We also transform our sites to be zero waste, single-use plastic ban, and that we put also action on water in stress area. And last but not least is the energy efficiency is maximized in our site. So that's use better. Then we have use longer. Use longer is where we support our customers with services in order to extend the lifespan of our product, of our Schneider Electric product, by maintaining and repairing our product so that the customer can use longer the product. And here also, we offer modernization to upgrade the product with more connectivity in order also to maximize energy efficiency. And finally, the last axis, use better, use longer. Last axis is use again. Use again is when the products have reached their end of usage, then we are able to collect those products. We say that we take back the product in order to repack them, to refurbish them, whenever it is possible, to offer them finally a new life. Or finally, if anything else cannot be done, then we recycle raw material and substances with our qualified partners.
What you described makes the whole concept much more tangible. It shows that circularity isn't a parallel initiative. It's something that reshapes how products are designed, moved, recovered, and reintroduced. Hearing it broken down like that, you really see the operational backbone behind the strategy.
Erika, can you please tell us what the R&D teams are doing to make the design fitting to circularity?
If I come back to what Mathieu just said, at Schneider Electric, we see circularity as a process that starts right at the design stage. And this stage is absolutely critical because around 80% of the product's environmental impact is influenced by the decisions we make at the design stage. So we can say that our R&D teams really shape the impact we can make. So I would like to illustrate that with two key levers we are currently doing. The first one is designed for repairability and maintenance whenever it makes sense. We work on products which are easier to open, diagnose, and fix, but we also design the right spare parts and create service processes so that our teams can repair on site or in our repair centers rather than replacing the full product. With that, we can extend the product life by several years and also significantly reduce the downtime risk for our customers. And maybe what I would like to mention is that Schneider Electric has also an internally created repair index tool, which allows design teams to assess the repairability potential and opportunity of a product. So that's the first lever. Then if you move to the second lever is everything around reducing the use of virgin materials across all our offers. So as part of our Schneider Electric Responsible Materials program, our R&D teams integrate responsible sourcing from the start. Plastics with recycled or bio-based content, as Mathieu said also, but we also look on the responsible sourcing and low carbon impact metals and materials. These choices directly reduce the material footprint of our products and the resource use, and we still keep the same technical performance. So, for me, the message is quite simple. Circularity becomes real starting from the design stage. As we embed repairability, material efficiency, and responsible sourcing from day one, the R&D teams really shape this process by enabling circularity at Schneider Electric. But as you know, design alone can't close the loop for circularity. So we also need the right internal processes and actors across the value chain so that we can make the full circular loop work.
That's such an important point. Design is really where the loop starts. The way you describe it, it highlights how early decisions determine what becomes possible later. Repair, reuse, component recovery, it all depends on what happens right at the beginning.
Mathieu, which internal processes need to be transformed to make the circular loop work?
Well, that's a good one. Looking at all internal processes, what should we change to go to circularity? That's a really good question. And actually, when we did the diagnosis of the transformation that needed to be done, the squad here discovered significant challenges that shows the incompatibility with our current way of working that was linear, fully relying on, take, make, and waste. So we needed to structure our approach, focusing on 3 pillars that needed a strong redesign in the business model. Actually, we needed to change our data, the way we manage our data, all the financial flows, and also our IT processes. So looking at those 3, we developed a new model that enabled to consider the customer as a supplier. If you want to take back products, then your customer is becoming a supplier. So you do not take anymore. You take back from a customer. And that from a financial perspective, that's a big change. We needed also to develop a model that was able to reinject value into the supply chain. Also, here we touch about the way we do costing, the way our finance model was made. Then third pillar on the data, because we needed to track the data. Traceability and quality is an absolutely need in our business. And now the product in circularity is just new. No, it's not only new. It can be new, it can be defective, it can be refurbished, it can be repacked. So in different states. And for that, we needed to build a new data model in order to continue to keep a robust traceability model. Then looking at our operation, obviously, reverse logistic was not really existing. Also, we needed to transform some of our manufacturing site into a repair center, into a repack center. We needed to implement refurbishment activities and also dismantling activities when looking at the last loop of circularity. And finally, because we are doing that also for our customers, we have integrated all this journey onto our website in order to enable our customer to have a smooth experience. Because the difference between circular model and linear model is that we take back, we refurbish, and we can only sell what we have. So here we have also exposed our stock of circular product on the web in order for our customer to process their order smoothly. So it was an absolute transformation, but keeping in mind that it has to be integrated, almost invisible. And like I used to say, it's our new normal.
I like how your answer exposes the complexity that sits behind the scenes. We often talk about circularity as like a single idea, but in practice, it means redesigning multiple processes at once. Logistics, quality checks, pricing flows, approvals planning. It's a full ecosystem shift.
Aniela, what is the value for customers when they use the take-back service with Schneider Electric?
Sure. So let me start by explaining what the take-back actually is. So take-back is a solution we offer to our customers to collect their end-of-use product and redirect them into the most efficient circular loops so we can maximize their reuse. And by maximize their reuse, we mean that take-back feeds the refurbishment flow of our products. So I would say that for our customers, the really value comes in three ways. First, it gives them peace of mind. They know their end-of-use equipment is managed responsibly. Second, it is simple and intuitive thanks to a smooth digital experience that guides them through every step. And third, it ensures full compliance with all waste management regulation. And finally, our recover and recycling service are a key part of Schneider Electric end-to-end circularity approach. Through the take-back, customers actively contribute to reducing their environmental footprint of their equipment and operations. And to make this impact clear and visible, we provide an environmental impact document at the end of the process to our customers.
I really like how you explained that, because people often overlook the strategic importance of take-back. Yes, it's convenient and responsible for customers, but the biggest picture is that it's the mechanism that keeps the loop supplied. Without returns, there's no stable pool of products for refurbishment.
Aniela, let's continue to the reverse journey of our product. What happens when a product is sorted and ready to be reused?
That's a really good question. First, it is important to understand that we often collect and sort products that were put on the market 10, 20, or even 30 years ago. That's why we put a lot of effort into creating the shortest and most efficient circular loops possible. And whenever it is possible, those products are sent to our refurbishment centers. That's where we diagnose them, repair them, and test them to make sure they meet Schneider Electric quality standards. Once they are fully restored, the refurbished units are carefully packaged and sent to our circular distribution center. And that's where the refurbished by Schneider Electric label really stands out as a clear guarantee of quality and circularity.
The way you describe the steps really helps us visualize the machinery behind the scenes. It becomes clear that reuse is a structured chain of evaluations, diagnoses, and decisions that bring the product back to life in the right way.
Erika, can you illustrate the full process through a concrete example?
Yes, of course, Pau. Thank you very much for this question. And also, I think it's looping back well what Aniela just explained before. So I will take a concrete example with a product family I know well, and I think you know also quite well, the variable speed drive systems. Those are complex products, and the way we design them already supports circularity. They are built with modular components, which means that if one module fails, we don't replace the full drive, but only the module which is faulty. With that, it keeps the system running longer at the customer and reduces cost and waste. So, if in this concrete example, the circular case starts in France, a customer reports a failure in a cabinet, we have our Schneider service representatives going on site and swaps the defective module with a new or refurbished one, depending on availability. Then the defective module is collected as part of the contract and the service agreement with the customer. After that, the module enters in the repair loop. It travels to our repair center in Austria, where technicians diagnose the failure and replace only the faulty components. They test and validate, and after that, the refurbished module is sent to our service distribution center, where it can be used again for another service intervention. With this circular process, the customers gain peace of mind on the product's end of use, and they also actively help feed the circular loop by enabling the products to be repaired and used again. And we can say that additionally, the refurbished module is carrying up to 80% lower embodied carbon than producing a new one. So I think with this example, we can show the full loop in action. We have the smart design, the efficient internal processes, and also the repair capabilities, which are working all together to deliver the circular process in real life.
Yeah, and I especially like how you emphasize the handovers. Every transition from one team to the next is essential. Your story shows how circularity only works when the flow between those touch points is smooth.
Mathieu, to conclude, what would be your piece of advice to start the circular transformation for any company?
Well, Karen, if I have to share one piece of advice for any company starting its circular transformation, I would actually share two. And really together they can turn circularity from a nice idea to a real shift in how company operates. So the first one is this one, is set a clear, bold, long-term vision from the top. You know, circularity isn't something that grows from a collection of small side projects. Real transformation starts when leader says, this is where we need to be in the next 5 to 10 years. This is our future that we are choosing. And that's when the vision is clear, people stop seeing circularity as an optional effort. They start seeing it as the company direction of travel. And that alignment is what fuels the momentum. But a vision alone isn't enough, and leads me to the second success factor that is almost the opposite, is let ideas rise from the ground, let local team experiment, test, create their own circular solution. Because circular opportunities rarely come from a boardroom, you know. They come from the factory floor, from the field teams, from supply chain experts, from people who see the waste, the inefficiency, the everyday realities that can even audit a bin and ask themselves why we have this product inside the bin and why not we can reuse it. So when you give them the permission to try things, even small, you unlock a wave of creativity that no strategy document can generate. And when you bring those two forces together, a strong top-down ambition and a vibrant bottom-up movement, then circularity becomes more than a strategy. It becomes a mindset. It's because part of how people think and innovate every single day, and again, back to our new normal. So if you're wondering where to start, then set the direction and trust your people to invent the path.
What you said really resonates so much. Starting small and then anchoring one loop, learning from data, refining processes. It's a very realistic way to begin. It's better to build one strong loop than 10 theoretical ones.
So Erika, Mattia, and Niela, thank you for joining us. You made the operational backbone of circularity very visible.
That's a great advice, Mathieu. Thanks for sharing this. Because in circular transformation, leadership provides the vision, but people create the change.
Very great discussion. Thanks a lot to both the four of you. And see you next time in the next podcast. Eat a coffee.
Thanks, Karen and Pao, for this coffee. What a great exchange. And see you next time.
And thanks to everyone listening. This was the Circular Coffee Club podcast. See you in the next episode.